Catholic Church, the guiding spiritual force in medieval Europe, found itself in a crisis that shook its foundation. Imagine a time when not one, not two, but three men claimed to be the true Pope, each declaring themselves the leader of Christendom. This was a time of division, confusion, and conflict, a period known as the Great Schism. Today, we explore how Europe was torn apart by conflicting allegiances, the political struggles that fueled the chaos, and the lasting impact of this tumultuous time on the Church and the world. To understand how this all began, we have to go back to 1378. At that time, the Catholic Church had already faced a period of crisis known as the Avignon Papacy. For nearly 70 years, the Pope had been living not in Rome, but in Avignon, France, deeply tied to French interests. This situation made many feel that the papacy was no longer the spiritual leader it should have been, but rather a political puppet of the French monarchy. When Pope Gregory XI finally returned to Rome in 1377, it was meant to restore papal authority and unity, but Gregory died only a year later, setting the stage for one of the greatest internal crises the Church would ever face. In 1378, after Gregory XI's death, the cardinals gathered in Rome to elect a new pope. Under intense pressure from the Roman public, who demanded an Italian pope, the cardinals chose Urban VI, but Urban VI quickly proved to be a volatile leader. His reforms aimed at curbing the corruption among the clergy were extreme and alienated the very cardinals who had elected him. His harsh treatment led the cardinals to regret their decision. In response, many of them fled Rome and declared that Urban's election had been made under duress, invalidating it. They elected a new pope, Clement VII, who took up residence in Avignon. And thus began the Great Schism. Two men, two popes, each claiming to be the rightful leader of Christendom. This wasn't just a religious problem, it was a political one. The rulers of Europe had to decide which pope to support, and their decisions were often based on national interests rather than faith. France, Scotland, Spain, and parts of southern Italy backed Clement VII in Avignon, while England, Germany, and northern Italy supported Urban VI in Rome. Europe was now divided, not just spiritually, but also politically, with nations choosing sides in a papal tug-of-war. The schism deepened over the years. Each pope appointed their own cardinals, issued decrees, and condemned the other as illegitimate. Both popes claimed to be the one true representative of Christ on earth. This wasn't just a theological dilemma, it undermined the very unity of the Church. For the people of Europe, the Great Schism was confusing and disheartening. Which pope should they follow? Which was the true vicar of Christ? It was a time of spiritual anxiety. Was their soul's salvation in jeopardy? The divide within the Church weakened its moral authority and made it vulnerable to criticism from emerging reformers. It also laid the groundwork for a questioning of the Church's hierarchy, which would play a significant role in the coming Protestant Reformation. By 1409, things took an even stranger turn. In an effort to resolve the schism, a group of cardinals convened the Council of Pisa. Their goal was to depose both popes and elect a new one, but instead of solving the crisis, they made it worse. Neither pope agreed to step down, and the cardinals ended up electing a third pope, Alexander V. Now Europe had three competing popes. This period of triple papacy only deepened the confusion and chaos within the Church and among the faithful. Finally, after decades of division, a solution was reached. The Council of Constance, convened in 1414, was determined to end the schism once and for all. By 1417, the council deposed or accepted the resignations of all three claimants and elected a new pope, Martin V, bringing an end to the Great Schism. But the damage had already been done. The Church's authority had been weakened, its unity shattered. The Great Schism exposed the political nature of the papacy and highlighted the dangers of mixing religion and politics. The Great Schism stands as a powerful reminder of how power struggles and political interests can distort even the most sacred institutions. Though the Church would eventually heal, this period of division left a lasting scar on its history. As we look back on this extraordinary chapter of history, we are reminded of the fragile nature of unity, both in faith and in the broader human community. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the Great Schism. If you enjoyed this exploration, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more deep dives into the fascinating history of religion. Until next time.